Hey guys, it's Anastasia and I'm back. Today, let's talk about the scoring system of Step 1 USMLE exam. Yeah, I know. There is so much discrepancy about the scoring system in USMLE exams in general, but I want to talk with you about the minimal, the maximal, and the average scores. So, the minimal score, beginning from May 9, 2016, the minimal passing score for Step 1 has changed, and now it is 192. So, talking about the maximal score, well, there is nothing called maximal score for any step in USMLE exams. So, something that I've heard of, which is sky high score that I know, is 270. And I wish you all guys get this score really and rock USMLE Step 1 exam. But the average score for American and international medical graduates is right now for 2016 is 240. And you should be ready actually to get somewhere from 230 to 250 in order to get to a good residency program. So let's talk about the target scores for each specialties. Okay, there is something, about the competition, right? There is some programs are very competitive and others are not as competitive. So the most competitive specialties are dermatology, ophthalmology, radiation oncology, and of course surgery. And so your average score that you want to target is for Step 1 is somewhere from 240 to 250. It's better be actually 260, but So other specialties like anesthesiology or something like internal medicine or orthopedic surgery, which is really competitive as well, you want to get somewhere from 230 to 240, 245. Less competitive specialties are pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology, and pathology. And your target scores for Step 1 should be somewhere from 220 to 235, I would say. And I would say the least competitive for now, the specialties are family medicine and psychiatry. So for those specialties, you actually need somewhere from 210 to 225 for Step 1. Now, it is extremely important that you actually take and pass your Step 1 exam from your first attempt. Imagine you are a program director. And today is September 15. September 15 is the day when the application to residency starts. And you are sitting there and seeing 10,000 applications. And you are given only 100 spots for an interview. How are you going to choose these people? And these people are brilliant, and you see that. First thing, you are going to eliminate people according to their scores. It's something. And the other thing, you are going to eliminate people because of their attempts. If they had some attempts during their, all the way that they were taking the steps. So be sure to go to exam when you are 100% sure that you are going to be ready, okay? That you're ready to take this step and actually rock it. The full preparation for Step 1 consists of reading and following the video lectures and reading the notes and then some extra books that it's better to read them and to listen. And surely a question bank, and it's better be actually 2 question banks that you are gonna go through question by question, and then do several assessment tests, and then go for the exam. Now, the video lectures and the notes. So Kaplan actually is very famous for that. They have the lecture notes for each subject, and they also have video lectures. And you can take those notes and follow the lecture and take your own notes as well. And you need somewhere from 3 to 5 months to complete all these books because there is so much information. I would not advise you to start memorizing by heart right away. It's actually better just to read them once and then maybe listen to them the second round, and then go and practice questions. In fact, I would actually advise you to start doing those questions in question banks very early in your preparation, because you are going to see in which way they might ask you the material that you actually know. But once you face the question, you're like, yeah, I knew that, but I have no idea what they're asking about. That's the problem for many international students, because we know the material, we just don't know what they want from us. Now, after these 3 to 5 months of reading the notes and following the lectures, you will need to go through pathology really extensively. That's why there is something called Pathoma, which is basically the book, and it exists online, and the video lectures. This is extremely, extremely well recorded and well written material for pathology. And I would say you better go through this twice. In fact, this is something that you will need and something very high yield for your actual exam. Now, once you completed that, some people who are really, really into pathology in general, like me, I went through Goljan. There is a book, actually, which is written by Edward Goljan. And that's extremely, extremely well-written, but very detailed source of pathology. But if you are limited in your time, you better just go for Pathoma second round rather than reading Goljan. Now, after you did that, and simultaneously, as I said, you have to do the question bank. But there are basically 2 big question banks, one of which is Kaplan question bank, and the other one is UWorld, USMLE World question bank. Kaplan Q Bank is not as close to the actual exam as USMLE World question bank. So I would advise you to start off with a Kaplan question bank so that you just get familiar with the questions and the tests in general. Later on, once you complete it, you better start with a UWorld question bank and get the newest version of First Aid. This is the book, and this is basically the plan and the little reminders of each topics that you've learned already, but it's very concise. So it's everything high yield that you actually need to know. So just get that book, because this book is everything for you. You're going to add the notes there. You're going to hold one book for your prep towards the end of your preparation. And I would advise you to go through this book several times because it's extremely important. And once you start the UWorld question bank, there is a great explanation note for each question. And if you don't know some material or the first aid missing some material, you can actually add it into the first aid so that you have a complete picture towards the end of your preparation. And I would say you will have to spend at least 2 months for USMLE World and the first aid. in total. So once you complete that, you should go through first aid a couple of more times.
You want me to do it again?
Yes, I know. This is a very tedious process. I mean, yes, I've already read that book. Why should I read it twice? That's because the material there is very high yield. It's everything that you have to know for the exam. I'm not saying that you have to memorize it by heart, but honestly, towards the end of my preparation for step 1, I knew exactly on which page each subject was. So I could actually open blindly the book and find the information I needed. This is how important first aid is. Okay. And so something that you might consider doing as well is going through your world question bank second round. Many students actually benefit from that. And that's because you start forgetting some information that you've learned at the beginning and you can catch up with that. Some students do not benefit from that. Me personally, I've never done that. But I did UWorld from my first round very extensively. So I knew almost every question there. After you do that, you should start with your assessment. Because assessment is the test that is long enough and can give you some information about your average score that you can expect after you take your step 1. Now let's talk about the assessment exams. Guys, be sure you take at least 2 to 3 assessment tests, okay? Because you want to make sure that you're going to the test prepared, okay? Now, there are 2 forms of this assessment exam. One of which is NBME assessment and the other one is USMLE World Assessment. USMLE World Assessment Test over-predicts your score. So you can take it just to practice, but the better estimate is going to be provided by the NBME assessment test. So what is this NBME assessment test? It is a 4-hour test session which consists of 4 blocks, 1 hour each, and each block contains 50 questions. It's a way more than the amount of questions per block that you're going to get on your actual exam, but you're going to teach yourself to be faster, which is good, right? So take your first NBME 1 month before your exam. The second assessment take 2 weeks before the exam. And the last one take 1 week before the exam. Now, this assessment test is going to give you the estimate of your score that you can expect to get after you take your step 1. And if you take these exams and your scores are going to be very close to each other, you have much more chances to score within this range, okay? It's very important that you take this exam. So how does that feel to take your step 1? Guys, I wish I could say that it's easy.
So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really hard.
No, it's not. Okay, mentally prepare yourself for the fight, for the marathon. And you should be able to run this marathon fast enough and long enough, okay? Because that's a very long time that you are going to be preparing and studying and literally feeling that you cannot handle all that material. And, you know, all the people that I know, including myself, who prepared for step 1 felt miserable during these times. First, you think, wow, so much information, that's so interesting. Actually, I can, integrate pharmacology with physiology and then put some pathology on top and I look like Dr. House, right? But in fact, once you start doing the questions, you feel like nothing works. Oh my God, I'm never gonna pass this exam. Guys, seriously, if I could pass this exam, you are going to pass this exam for sure, okay? And just think in this way. Think positive. I know there's a hard work. And I know that at sometimes actually you're going to see dreams. You're going to see the formulas, and then you're going to see the medication names, and you're going to see these physiological graphs and all sorts of things, and you're gonna go crazy. But trust me, it's gonna finish. It's gonna be over, and you're not gonna be so proud of yourself that you beat it, that you did it. And you're going to make your own story and tell your friends and your colleagues and your peers and say that I say I did it, and you can actually do that too. So this is a very long time. And just focus, you know? And sometimes you're gonna think, I cannot make it. And especially during the exam, you know, honestly, when I was doing my exam, after 4 hours, when I was very anxious, I felt like I went outside for the break and I was like, okay, I failed it already. Why should I stay for 3 more hours? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, okay, I'm just packing my stuff and leaving. And when I was packing my stuff, I was like, okay, but it still came. I mean, I paid for this exam, right? And I mean, I better just finish it. So I came back, I finished my exam, I went outside, and I'm like, okay, this is over. And then when I got my results, I passed it. And I got a very good score. But what I'm saying here is that you're going to be feeling so miserable during the time of your preparation, including your exam session. But trust me, you're going to be rewarded for that. Just think positive. You are going to make it, okay? Guys, thank you so much for watching me. Please subscribe to my video blog on Parceed